Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Harrell, LFA TV here. Look, I have some major, urgent, breaking news involving us and involving really all of you who are either in North Carolina or in the surrounding affected areas, or even people who are donating. You probably saw my video the other day where I said that FEMA was confiscating certain donations and claiming jurisdiction over areas and confiscating supplies. Well, that turned out not only to be true, but now you're getting the reports from people saying that they're threatened to get arrested if they fly in or if they do any drop zone stuff. They're threatening truck drivers with arrest if they try to go in and impede in any way. What they're doing is they're flipping the script and they're calling rescue and relief impeding in government affairs, because the government doesn't have any money and because the government has to go through all the red tape and isn't really saving anybody. It's making them look very bad that citizens are doing it. So that's why they need to, confiscate things, and that's why they need to turn people away. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's some breaking news for you. We have 2 reporters on the ground down there right now, literally right now, with sheriff departments, and the sheriff departments are literally banding together with the fire departments and saying that they will arrest any federal employee that tries to impede in any rescue or relief by claiming jurisdiction and not allowing local and community sheriffs and fire departments and rescue relief and citizens airplanes and helicopters. The sheriffs are literally banding together right now and saying that we will arrest any federal agent that tries to, impede our ability to go out there and help these people, because it's not about red tape when it's civilian. And we're not going to deal with the red tape. We're not going to deal with the confiscations. We're not going to deal with your rules, this, that, and the other. That's one report. Here's another major report that you need to share everywhere. Yesterday, I got reached out to by the West North Carolina Nature Center, who told me that I am spreading false information. First of all, we know who speaks like that, right? We don't speak like that. We don't say disinformation and misinformation or false information. We say the word lies. They were saying that I am spreading false information, not only by my reporting of FEMA doing exactly what Terrence Williams has told you they're doing, what Elon Musk has told you they're doing, what relief groups on the ground have told you they're doing. They told me that I'm spreading misinformation by reporting that, and that I need to take that video down. They're literally telling me to take my video down because there's truckloads of supplies on the side of the road that won't come there and deliver that to them now because of my reporting of FEMA confiscating items. And I'm like, well, that sounds really weird. If you're not FEMA, then what do you have to worry about? Obviously, you're out there helping the civilians. People are still going to donate to you. And they're like, no, it's the other way around. People are watching your video and they're not sending supplies in fear that things are being confiscated, and they're not. And then I started criticizing FEMA, and they would not distance themselves from FEMA in any way. They weren't saying that they were part of FEMA, but they wouldn't distance themselves from FEMA. And they were saying that because of my reporting about what FEMA's doing, that they're not getting supplies, and that I need to censor our reporting or take it down because it's misinformation. To come to find out, the Western North Carolina Nature Center also gets a tourism development grant and fund. By the way, what the North Carolina people are not happy with the way that they're redistributing that money, because they're redistributing it not to tourism, they're redistributing it to low-income housing. Wonder who's staying in those places. Anyway, long story short, they also get federal funding from the Department of Interior. Now, we know that the Department of Interior was involved with the Bureau of Land Management murdering of Lavoy Finicum over, what was it? Ladies and gentlemen, wasn't just land. No. It was the uranium one. And now we're dealing with natural resources here, lithium and other things like that. And the federal government is coming in claiming jurisdiction and threatening to lock up pilots, helicopter pilots, social media influencers, people who report the news, people on the ground, relief efforts people. They're literally threatening to arrest them. And I have people reaching out to me telling me that I need to take down my reporting because it's hurting their efforts to get supplies. The only people's efforts here that are being hurt are FEMA's, because we know what FEMA's doing with the resources. We know what FEMA's doing. And FEMA's saying that no water, unless it's FEMA authorized water, can be given to anybody. And they're flipping the script, and by saying that we are impeding their efforts to save people. That's how they're doing this. And they're going to start arresting people the same way they did January 6th and everything else. I want you to look into the WNC Nature Center. I want you to look into the Tourism Development Fund that gets about $50 million a year that they misappropriate. I want you to look into the Department of Interior, because these are the people, and I have the proof. I'm going to show this all. I'm literally doing this on the side of a road right now, but I'm going to show this all. I'm going to show all the correspondence between me and them and how weird it is. And you can definitely be sure that people that are trying to oppress and silence truth from getting out by telling me to take down reporting that's absolutely turned out to be 100% true, you can bet your bottom dollar that they're working with people like that. So you see how they're flipping the script. You see how they're lying. You're seeing how they're trying to stop the flow of information, the real information getting out, because they don't want the world to know that they are not only screwing this entire thing up, but they have no money and they don't want the people of this country banding together to help other people. And you got to ask yourself why. This is all true reporting, folks. You can take it for what you want or not, because this is true reporting. And I just got off the phone with that entire situation with the sheriff saying we will arrest federal FEMA agents if they impede our efforts, because we're done with this. And I'm not going to be threatened, and I'm not going to be silenced, and I'm not going to be oppressed, and nobody's going to get me to take down my reporting by any kind of threatening or anything like that either, because the whole thing smells to high heaven. And we have multiple, not just Pete Santilli, but we've got the entire Dogwood Relief people down there who are all working with sheriffs and fire departments. We have Tyler Kramer. You're not going to tell us what's really going on. We're going to tell the world what's going on. And come hell or high water, the truth will get out. And you're trying to stop us from sending money down there. We've already sent 5 of the 8,000 down there, and we're going to raise more, and we're going to send more. And we're going to continue to have people down there helping out. Trying to take your video down. Are you kidding me? Why? The only people that would be hurt from my video being up is FEMA. So if you're out there and you're trying to get people silenced, and by the way, we're hearing that there's an entire social media influencer, not really a campaign, more like an operation going on, where they're trying to get social media influencers to put out false information so they can lock everybody up for impeding in a government relief effort. You see what they're doing, folks? Don't buy it. Share this video. Pass it around. Get it to everybody. We will not be stopped or silenced. God bless everybody in the situation right now to help people. God bless truth tellers. And I am not suicidal.
I don't even know when. 3 years ago? It was right after Joe Biden got into office. Let me share something that we told you about at that time. I'm just going to quote from the monologue. Here we go. In the first few days of the Biden presidency, a flurry of executive orders were issued. This one is worth looking at. Number 14008. Tackling the climate crisis at home and abroad. Take a look at Section 104, where Biden reinstated an Obama-era initiative called the Presidential Memorandum of September 21st, 2016, Climate Change and National Security. You can see just how far Trump set them back. They've been planning this one for more than 6 years, and the next line in the order gives a hint on what Pillar 1 is all about. Quote, taking a government-wide approach to the climate crisis. Much of this and what all of it means is still coming out, but we're starting to see how the government is planning to make an end run around the Constitution, and bureaucracy is how they're going to do it. We found this academic paper written by a climate activist professor several years ago. It proposes that FEMA could be weaponized to, instead of being reactionary to natural disasters, proactively, it could operate as some sort of Green New Deal enforcer. If, quoting the paper, if the moment is seized, the current crisis and any renewed attention it may bring to the emergency management can be an opportunity to recast it as more vital and strategic component in the future political landscape. The paper laments FEMA's previous restrictions when it comes to liberty and their reluctance to, quote, impose limitations on private property. So what they're saying is, well, let me quote directly from the FEMA government website, integrating sustainability into recovery. It was updated July 22nd, 2020. I'm quoting from the monologue from about 3 years ago. This is being set in motion during the final months of the Trump administration, and they say there's no such thing as the deep state. This is one of their guides that actually is linked back to the Department of Energy, going green from the ground up. The first section says it all. Out of crisis, opportunity. Keep in mind, this isn't from a congressional committee. This is from an unelected bureaucracy, FEMA, and the Department of Energy. They will rebuild society in whatever image they want. As you scroll through the FEMA website, it looks familiar for people who have been following this stuff. It looks like a near carbon copy of the United Nations Agenda 2030, the Agenda for Sustainable Development. And the 17 Sustainable Goals are another carbon copy of what the Davos crew are saying about the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset. It is all the same. And our own government is quietly pushing ahead without your vote, your knowledge, or your consent. What they're saying is, if you actually like or need your high carbon footprint job, if you work in the oil and gas industry, car industry, coal industry, 95% of blue collar work, or literally anything they don't like, too bad. The new U.S. government bureaucratic Great Reset believes that liberty is a liability. Private property is, quote, a limitation. So what could be happening in Chimney Rock is FEMA, and I told you this the other day when I quoted the 3 goals now of FEMA. I said they're not an emergency management, get in there first and make sure everybody's okay. That's not what they do anymore. On their own website are the first 3 goals.
Equity is goal number 1.
Equity, goal number 1.
And they have as subtitles in that a diverse workforce. Their number 1 listed goal is a diverse
Number 1 goal
workforce.
of our emergency management is now equity. Hey, you want to keep voting for more of this, right? I mean, go, Kamala.
And you almost want to say, is this like some subset of FEMA?
No,
is this
no.
Is it some, hey, this is our plan for diversity or something? No, it is just legitimately their strategic plan, goal 1, equity. 1.1 is diverse workforce. Then you have a people first approach, and then equitable outcomes. Mm-hmm. Outcomes.
Yeah. So reason number 1 would be these are this Appalachia is full of a lot of white people, and the people who are affected are a lot of white hicks. They've had their time. Okay, that could be the thinking logically, and without them thinking that's a bad thing. Because they really, truly believe this. Okay, so they're not going in to help because it's not for equity. We got to get those people out because of goal number 2.
Goal 2 is climate resilience.
Mm-hmm. Now, what this means is they need to, out of crisis, find the opportunity and make places, reshape them so they're resilient to climate change. And that can mean you don't live there anymore. Okay, well, that's apparently what Chris Martinson is saying on his X feed. That apparently is what they told the town council of Chimney Rock. This is all government land. You're not going to rebuild here. That fits goal number 2 of FEMA. Let me just leave you with one other thing. Could we please play the audio of Kamala Harris yesterday on what she thinks the government needs to do right away? Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you, there's a political ad on TV from a 2019 climate hall.
No, it's not that one.
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected.
$750. We just sent how many billions? How many billions have gone overseas? How many billions? How many hundreds of millions have we sent over to Ukraine? We are paying for some of their small businesses to stay open. Did you know that? We are paying for their social security in Ukraine, and you get $750? This is your frickin' money. You want more of this? Vote Kamala. You want to take care of things? vote Trump. You just want to make sure people are happy. Stop waiting for the government to do it. Help us help them. Mercury1.org.